What's up, America? I'm Danny T. Welcome to the show. Well, last week we talked about one of the Epstein guards, Tova Noel. I mistakenly called Tova Noel a man a few times. She is a woman. She's a brutish woman, but nonetheless, she is a woman. I didn't see a picture of her till the other day. My mistake. I just want to make sure I'm getting you guys the right information out here. So, Tova Noel is not a man. She's a she. Not like a trans, a real she, but nonetheless, uh, Tova Noel is the guard that when Epstein met his demise, she was the guard on duty. One of them, she ended up with 5 grand mysteriously in her account 10 days before Epstein's demise, and the day of his death, she was checking about his well-being. There were 2 Google searches within the hour of his death. She is now being called in by the Oversight Committee. They want to do a deposition with her, uh, see what's going on with that. Uh, I mean, we've seen a lot of these depositions lately, and nothing seems to come of it. Conan O'Brien, I didn't watch what is it, the Grammys or the Oscars or whatever it is, but he came out making a joke about how other places arrest their pedophiles. But as I've talked about, pretty much everyone's let go. The only person I still think is actually under investigation is Thornbjorn Jagland from one of those Denmark countries, whatever it was. I think he's the only one still in any type of trouble, as far as I know. It seems like just arrest and release is what's been going on. Uh, kind of sucks with that. I keep saying I wish more would happen with this. Hopefully it does soon. Hopefully sooner than later. But I'll keep you updated on that. She should be going in within a month to talk to them. Hopefully, from my understanding, when it goes down, I'll be here to let you know. Um, but in other news, we have the Ayatollah, uh, the new Ayatollah, uh, Moj Baba. You know, there's a lot going on with him, a lot of controversy. I mean, we all saw the little cardboard cutout of him, but he's still not made an appearance. There's definitely speculation that uh, there's reports that he's injured, severely injured, disfigured, things like that. But there's also it's hard to think maybe he's dead. Maybe they don't have an Ayatollah right now. Maybe they have no lead over there. It's pretty crazy what's going on. Normally these Ayatollahs do daily prayers and they're always on TV. They're everywhere. The supreme leader bullshit that they do. Yeah, it's kind of strange that no one's seen this man yet. We hear he said this, he said that, but still no sightings of this guy. He's kind of like Elvis, I guess. And he's a mystery. But see what happens with that too. As far as Iran goes, I mean it's still going pretty well from my understanding. Trump still hopes to wrap this up fast. I'm hoping it does go fast. Um, I'd really hate to lose any more troops out there, anything like that. I'm not a fan of war. I do support this. I think the Iranian people need freedom from this oppressive regime that's over there. I mean, I've spoken a lot about the IRGC over the past few episodes. A lot about the Ayatollahs. It's not good. Anyone who still sides with that, it's hard for me to side with that. Letting oppression, you know, murdering protesters, just everything going on over there. Child brides, all that stuff. I'm just against all that. I feel as Americans we should be against that. Pushing democracy in places like Iran. Hopefully we get the whole Middle East on our side eventually. I've spoken about that before too. Um, yeah, it's just pretty crazy to me, just all this. But on top of this, someone who really likes the IRGC and all that is Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's in some hot water lately, claiming he's under investigation by the DOJ, the CIA, for communications with Iran. Um, Tucker, you know, I respect him as a journalist, all that. I still I try and listen to everything, I just do, but it's getting hard to listen to him lately. Uh, just his Jew hatred, and as I've said, I'm not here to support Israel. I really don't think we should support either of them. Uh, I understand our party, the Republican Party, has been splitting over a lot of issues. Um, you know, Tucker defends the Middle East and all that. I find it hard to side with either of them. I find it hard to side with Israel, and I find it hard to side with Islam. Um, I don't think either one of them are America first. I don't think we should hate any of them. But you know, it's differences. I don't think all cultures mix well together. And I think we should be focusing on what's better for the United States here. Um, I feel Tucker's lost his mind lately. Just putting Iran, putting Muslims up on a pedestal. Uh, you know, as I've said, I don't think either one of them. We shouldn't be siding with either one, but I think Tucker's going overboard with the Jew hatred. You know what I mean? Now I'm not saying they're Israel's angels or anything like that, but I mean, I think the bigger threat is Islam to the United States. That's just my opinion. Maybe it's not yours. I mean, I could list you probably 30 Muslim terrorists. I don't think I could list one Israeli bomber that's come here and done anything. It's hard for me to side with either one of them. So I try and stay out of that. I try and stay out of the Ben Shapiro, uh, Tucker Carlson beef and all that. I've been trying to stay away from Candace, ever since Charlie Kirk died. It's just conspiracy theory bullshit. Um, I'm gonna love it when real journalism comes back, when I can listen to a podcast and actually get real information instead of just propaganda from one side to the other. Just be real. you know, uh, if this is true and Tucker is working with the other side, he's looking at some pretty hot water, being a traitor to the United States and all that. Uh, Again, the only place this is coming from is Tucker himself. So I don't know, I don't want to call the man a liar, but I mean, he, there's no other source other than him saying that he's under investigation. Uh, his motives for that, I mean, there's a number of them. I don't want to start listing them, but uh, yeah. Nonetheless, on the opposite side of this, you have Ted Cruz, who's a maniac in his own right. Um, I've spoken about how we shouldn't have foreign born in our government before. I might do another episode on that a little more in depth. People like Ted Cruz, he comes from Canada. I don't think he should be representing the United States. People like Ilhan Omar. I mean, there's a list. Anyone that I, I really think you should be born here to represent this country. I don't think anyone that isn't should be speaking for Americans. Nonetheless, Ted Cruz came out. He said that anyone who says Christ is king is being anti Semitic. Uh, I think that's wild. It's like the opposite of Tucker. I don't think we should be hating anyone else, but I don't think we should be pandering to them either. I understand Israel's been a great ally to us, but we're Americans here. United States first over Israel's feelings. Christianity over any other religion, in my opinion. I don't care what offends anyone or not. Saying Christ is king is, part of Christianity. I don't think that's anti-Semitic. It's one thing I don't understand is, we need to be understanding and sympathetic, and we need to include everyone else to feel equal and whatever else. But, being a white European, you get shit on a lot, and it doesn't matter. It's not considered racist. If I say something about someone else's religion, I'm a bigot, I'm an asshole. But anyone else can say what they want about Christianity. I think it's enough of that. You're allowed to be Christian. This is the United States of America. Uh, Christianity is a big part of it. I'd go as far to say as it's the number one religion in the United States. I'm not inclusive. If something bothers you, don't pay attention to it. Um, I'm not out there flinging bacon at people. Leave Christianity alone. Ted Cruz, you're a moron. I've said it before. I'll say it again. You're a moron. Go back to Canada. You don't represent me. And I find it hard to believe that you represent really any Republicans out there. You're your own thing. So yeah, that's terrible in my opinion. But one more thing coming up is Dr. Oz. Last story I have for today. Dr. Oz has been busting fraud cases all over the United States. Most recently, 700 hospices in LA, all fraudulent. Patients that aren't terminally ill are being accepted and billing Medicare. Um, I don't know where the money's going for that, but it's in New York. They're really putting pressure on the governor out there to do something about it. But with all these other fraud cases that as we've seen, nothing really gets done about anything. I don't know why we have a DOJ. They don't seem to do much of anything, whether it's Epstein, whether it's the frauds. I've talked a lot about the frauds. Um, Speaking of fraud in Minnesota, uh, Dr. Oz announced he's going to be withholding $259 million in federal Medicaid funding uh, for them not holding anyone responsible for the mass amounts of fraud going on out there that have been uncovered. Uh, on top of that, up to 5 million people uh, have been improperly enrolled in the Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare, for those of you that don't know. It's been costing up to $20 billion to us for these frauds going on everywhere. Uh, it's pretty wild to me. Uh, Now, instead of getting a pat on the back for discovering these frauds for going around, Gavin Newsom and some members of Minnesota are claiming it's politically motivated, racially charged, and they're actually taking Dr. Oz to court over this. And again, as I just said, it's crazy to me how we have to be inclusive of everyone else, um, but it's really not an equal thing. Uh, Fraud is fraud. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what country you come from. I don't care what religion you have. Theft is theft. Fraud is fraud. I think citizenships need to be revoked. I think people need to get out of this country already. Starting with Minnesota, uh, it's enough. It's enough of all this. I've been talking about Minnesota since maybe my second or third episode since I started, and we're still waiting for some type of closure to be done there. Everything's rate baiting. Everything's bullshit. It's crazy to me uh, that you can just get away with stealing money and just claim racism anytime someone tries to arrest you for it. It's wild to me. This it's crazy. The division that's going on. The Democrat demon rats pushing all this crazy policy around and cover ups and no accountability. It's getting ridiculous, in my opinion. Um, when are we going to draw the line? Like when is enough enough? When do we tighten up who gets to come and be an American citizen? It's pretty crazy to me that we just keep letting it come in. We keep letting trash come in here from other countries. They do what they want. They run amok. They try and change our country, and people like Dr. Oz get in trouble for it. The people exposing the fraud get in trouble instead of arresting the criminals because we need to be inclusive. We need to be understanding and supportive of people that come from places where they have mud huts and no plumbing, but we're supposed to be inclusive of them and let them in our branches of government and let them steal billions of dollars from us. And enough is enough. Like something needs to change with all that. It seems like this whole show today has been fraud and race baiting bullshit, but I guess that's what it is today. If you like things I talk about on here, America, give my channel a like, share, and subscribe. Uh, don't forget Christ is King, and I'll see you later, America.